Hello, I'm Kevin McManus, the Artistic Director of Goldfinch Productions. Thank you for tuning in to our presentation of St. Joan in America. This modern-day radio play adaptation takes the original George Bernard Shaw play from 100 years ago and gives it new life. We appreciate you taking the time to stream our work. If you like what you hear today, please visit goldfinchproductions.org/donate and consider a charitable contribution to our little nonprofit company. We love making this work for you, and we want to keep creating it. With your support, we will do just that. Thanks again, and please enjoy the show.
This is a work of dramatic fiction, a fantasia. Most of the words are Shaw's or our own invention. Any actual names or likenesses of public figures are used in a satirical and/or parodic manner. Your timeline may vary. Any resemblance to reality is purely wishful thinking. George Bernard Shaw was Irish and used to being marginalized. Among acclaimed British Isles playwrights, he is considered second only to Shakespeare. Shaw was Irish. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature shortly after he published St. Joan. Bernard was Irish. He was very active in politics as a supporter of the working classes. GBS was Irish and no fan of the status quo. He wrote St. Joan to show the status quo often fails to support even the best among us. If the status quo feels threatened, it will do anything to preserve its standing. In our modern take on the play, the world is facing irrefutable proof that the status quo will result in catastrophic climate change, yet our leaders are taking no substantive action. Our Joan of Arc, Greta Thunberg, can't believe the adults don't care what happens to everyone else after they are gone. Scene 1. Earth 2, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. Greta Thunberg, Joan, a young student who staged a solitary strike to influence the Swedish parliament to comply with the Paris Climate Change Agreement, is heard speaking to a crew of yachting sailors.
It seems like the people in power have given up. They say it's too hard. It's too much of a challenge. But that's what we are doing here. We have not given up because this is a matter of life and death for countless people. Either we choose to go on as a civilization or we don't. That is as black or white as it gets. There are no gray areas when it comes to survival.
Captain Robert de Baudricourt of the racing yacht Terra 3 is then seen addressing his first mate, Bertrand de Poulengy, aka Polly.
No eggs? No eggs? 1,000 thunders, Polly! What do you mean by no eggs?
Sir, it is not my fault. It is the act of God. The end will not lay.
Indeed. C'est moi. What am I? Am I Robert de Baudricourt, captain of the racing yacht Terra 3? Or am I a chicken boy?
Oh, sir, you know you are a greater man here than the American president himself.
You have not only the honor of being my first mate, but the privilege of being the worst, most incompetent, driveling, sniveling, jabbering idiot of a sailor on the Atlantic. My 3 Barbary hens and the black are the best layers in port, and you come and tell me there are no eggs? Who stole them? Tell me that.
But there is a spell on us. We are bewitched.
That story is not good enough for me. Ship's captains burn witches and hang thieves, Polly. Now bring me my usual omelette, or heaven have mercy on your bones.
Sir, I tell you, there are no eggs. There will be none, not if you were to kill me for it, as long as the maid is at the door.
The maid? What maid? What are you talking about?
The girl from Sweden, sir. From Stockholm, who everyone is talking about. The students and the sailors call her Joan of Arc, or the maid, for obvious reasons.
30,000 thunders! 50,000 devils! Do you mean to say that girl who had the impudence to ask to see me and whom I told you to send back to her father with my orders that he was to give her a good hiding is here still?
I have told her to go, sir. She won't. Oh, she is so positive, sir.
Positive? Now see here.
She is weaker than we are. She is only a slip of a girl. But we cannot make her go.
You parcel of curse! You are afraid of her!
No, sir. We are afraid of you. But she puts courage into us. She really doesn't seem to be afraid of anything. So I told her to come in.
The maid enters.
Be you captain? It is about time. When I came, your hens were in a terrible state. I set your sailors straight about the need to give them more light and living space, and less stress.
Yes, damn your impudence. I be captain.
She wants to go and be an advocate soldier herself. She wants you to give her an advocate's clothes and a power pantsuit, sir, and a briefcase.
Good morning, Captain. You are to provide me with transportation to America, clothing and companions, and send me to the Vice President. Those are your directions from the Creator.
And who the devil may your Creator be? Go back to him and tell him that I take no orders except from our lawful leaders.
Yes, Captain, that is all right. The Creator is all around us here on planet Earth. She is connected to all living things. And she is pissed.
Why, the girl's mad. Why didn't you tell me so, you blockhead?
Sir, do not anger her. Give her what she wants.
They all say I am mad until I talk to them, Captain. But you see, that is the will of the Creator, that you are to do what she has put into my mind.
It is the will of the Creator that I shall send you back to your father with orders to put you under lock and key and thrash the madness out of you. What have you to say to that?
You think you will, Captain, but you will find it all coming quite different. You said you would not see me, but here I am. Oh, and my father's coming, too.
Now listen to me. I am going to assert myself.
Please do, sir. The ship's passage will be a burden. It is a large expense, but I could save some of it on the pantsuit. I can find a thrift store suit that will fit me well enough. I am very hardy, and I do not need beautiful clothes made to my measure like you wear. You can think of it as my power suit, my armor for battle. I shall not want many with me. The Vice President will give me all I need to persuade the U.S. Congress to enforce the climate agreement.
To persuade Congress?
Yes, Captain. That is what I need to do. We must address the climate crisis. We shouldn't fly because aviation fuel is so harmful to the environment. All living creatures are directly or indirectly connected. We are all part of a single living being, and we are killing our host. You are older and may not have noticed, but we humans are a cancer that is destroying the earth. We will only survive by living in harmony. I have been striking against the status quo outside Parliament to draw attention to the fact that if we don't drastically change our ways, young people will be forced to live in a dying, polluted world. Thousands and thousands of other students have joined me. If the baby boomers who got us into this mess will hear and heed the Creator's message, they will stop killing the planet. One companion will be enough for you to assign to me for the voyage, if they are good and gentle. They drew straws to accompany me, Polly one.
Polly? You impudent baggage! You dare call Bertrand de Poulengy Polly to my face?
Her friends call her so. I did not know she had any other name. There will be no trouble for you, Captain. I have arranged it all. You have only to give the order.
Well, I am damned.
No, Captain. She is very merciful, and the blessed Pope Francis and Rachel Carson, who speak to me every day, will intercede for you. You will be loved, and your name will be remembered forever as my first helper.
Is this true, Polly?
I don't know about loved, sir. But yes, I want to help her.
Get out and wait outside.
Certainly, Captain.
Go with her, you dithering imbecile. Stay within call and keep your eye on her. I shall have her up here again.
Do so in God's name, sir. Think of those hens.
Think of my boot and take your backside out of reach of it. No, wait, come back. A friendly talk, Polly. Sit down. Now listen to me, Polly. I must talk to you like a father. It's about this girl you are interested in. Now, I have seen her. I have talked to her. First, she's mad. Now, no doubt it seems to you that you are a very simple thing to take this girl away, humbugging her into the belief that we are taking her to the vice president. But if you get her into trouble, you may get me into no end of a mess. So, friends or no friends, Polly, hands off of her.
I should as soon think of the Blessed Virgin herself in that way, as of this girl.
But she says you have offered to go with her. Now what for? You are not going to tell me that you take her crazy notion of going to the vice president seriously, are you?
There is something about her. The sailors are pretty foul-mouthed and foul-minded down there in the mess, some of them, but there hasn't been a word that has anything to do with her being a woman. They have stopped swearing before her. There is something. It may be worth trying.
Oh, come on, Polly. Pull yourself together. Common sense was never your strong point, but this is a little too much.
What is the good of common sense? If we had any common sense, we should throw in with the fossil fuel industry, ignore the climate crisis, and live as long as we can. The climate deniers hold half the USA and half the Senate under their sway. Even if the new president leaves office, the vice president will be ineffectual, though she was capable during the presidential campaign. No matter, her people are cowed now, and she can't work miracles. And I tell you that nothing can save our planet now but a miracle.
Miracles are all right, Polly. The only difficulty about them is that they don't happen nowadays.
I used to think so. I am not so sure now. At all events, this is not a time to leave any stone unturned. There is something about the girl.
Oh, you think the girl can work miracles, do you?
I think the girl herself is a bit of a miracle. Anyhow, it would be nice to sail an ocean that had more fish in it than plastic. And she may be that last card left in the environment's hand. Better play her than throw up the game.
You really think that?
Is there anything else left for people to think?
Look here, Polly. If you were in my place, would you let a girl like that do you out of the cost of a sail across the Atlantic?
I will pay for the trip.
You will?
Yes, I will back my opinion.
You will really gamble on a forlorn hope?
It is not a gamble.
What else is it?
It is a certainty, mon Dieu. Her words and her ardent faith have put fire into me.
You are as mad as she is.
We want a few mad people now. See where the sane ones have landed us? Look, here's some information about her.
I should feel like a precious fool. Still, if you feel sure...
I feel sure enough to take her to America. I'll get her.
Joan returns.
What is your name?
They call me lots of things. Now, to some folks, I'm Joan, like Joan of Arc. I guess because I'm young and I'm willing to fight. I feel a deep connection to Joan because even while simply growing up, we both knew it was necessary to fight because our lives were at stake. Pun intended. So Joan suits me just fine. The sailors call me the maid.
As you say, you are young. Shouldn't you be in school? Don't you want to learn?
Because you grown-ups don't give a damn about my future, neither do I. My name is Greta Thunberg, and I am going on strike from school for the climate. I have been on the road and visited numerous places and met people from all over the globe. I can say that it looks nearly the same everywhere I've been. The climate crisis is ignored by people in charge, despite the science being crystal clear. It shouldn't be up to us children and teenagers to make people wake up around the world. The ones in charge should be ashamed.
What did you mean when you said that Pope Francis and Rachel Carson talk to you every day?
They do. And sometimes Jane Goodall and Suzanne Simard, our human guide to the world's interconnectivity.
What are they like?
I will tell you nothing about that. They have not given me leave.
But you actually see them, and they talk to you just as I am talking to you?
No, it is quite different. I cannot tell you. You must not talk to me about my voices.
How do you mean voices?
I hear voices telling me what to do. They come from the Creator.
They come from your imagination.
Of course. That is how the messages of the Creator come to us.
Checkmate.
So, the Creator says you are to persuade Congress to enforce the climate agreement.
And to make sure that the Vice President replaces the diminished President ASAP.
Ensure that the Vice President becomes President? Sacre bleu!
And to remind people of the Pope's teachings on climate change.
Anything else?
Not just at present, thank you, Captain.
I suppose you think that persuading Congress is as easy as creating an anime meme? You think that advocacy is anybody's job?
I do not think it can be very difficult if the Creator is on your side, and you are willing to give your life for her well-being. But many politicos are very simple.
Simple? Did you ever see gay-straight lobbyists fighting?
They are only people, made just like us, but they have lost their way.
Who has been putting such nonsense into your head? Don't you know that politicos are subject to their media and donor overlords? And that it is nothing to them whether that is Rupert Murdoch or Charles Koch, ExxonMobil or the Teamsters Union?
I do not understand that a bit. We are all subject to the Creator. You must not think about your duty to your funders, but about your duty to her and the planet.
It is no use, Robert. She can choke you like that every time.
Can she? By Saint Denis, we shall see. We are not talking about God. We are talking about practical affairs. I ask you again, girl. Have you ever seen lobbyists and pundits and trolls and hackers and doxers go after an individual?
You must not be afraid, Robert.
Damn you, I am not afraid.
Listen to me. In Stockholm, 3 politicos rented rooms near us during the parliamentary sessions. I came to know these 3 poor goddams quite well. They had not half my strength.
Do you know why they are called goddams?
No. Everyone calls them goddams.
It is because they are always calling on their God to condemn their souls to perdition.
She will be merciful to them, and they will act like her good children when they go back to their districts.
Perhaps. But the more devil you are, the better you might fight. And that is why the goddams will still rule Congress. And you cannot stop them, nor 10,000 like you.
1,000 like me can stop them. 10 like me can stop them with the Creator on our side. You do not understand, Captain. Our supporters are always beaten because they are fighting only to save their skins. And the shortest way to save your skin is to run away. Our advocates are thinking only of the money they will make. It is not kill or be killed with them, but pay or be paid. But I will teach them all to fight. And then they will drive the poor goddams before them like sheep. You and Polly will live to see the day when the air will start to become cleaner. When the oceans you sail will have reduced pollution and no bottom trawling. When there are less extinctions, not more. When it is rational to believe that the future may be better.
This may all be rot, Polly. But the middle class might swallow it, although nothing that we say seems to be able to put any fight into them. Even the vice president might swallow it.
I can see no harm in trying. Can you? And there is something about the girl.
All right. Your orders are that you are to go to D.C. under the escort of this crew member.
How is she to get in to see the Vipotus?
I don't know. How did she get into my presence? If the VIP can keep her out, she is a better woman than I take her for. I will take her to D.C. Then, let come what may. I can do no more.
And the suit? I may have an advocate's power suit, mayn't I, Captain?
Have what you please. I wash my hands of it.
Come, Polly.
The hens are laying like mad, sir. 8 dozen eggs.
Christ in heaven! She did come from God.
Scene 2, the East Room of the White House. Pope Francis and the new climate envoy, former Senator and presidential nominee John Kerry, are waiting for the Vice President Kamala Harris.
What the devil does the Vice President mean by keeping us waiting like this? You are on an official papal visit, for Christ's sake. I don't know how you have the patience to stand there like a stone idol.
You see, I am the Pope, and a Pope is a sort of idol. At any rate, he has to learn to keep still and suffer fools patiently. Now, who is this clean-cut young fellow that is approaching with Bernie Sanders? Is this the smart one, Buttigieg?
Indeed. Everyone calls him Bluebeard. That's his social media handle. He was in the Navy, so you know, pirate. Yeah.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg comes up.
Your faithful lamb, Pope Francis. Do you know what just happened to Bernie Sanders?
He has sworn himself into a fit, perhaps.
No, just the opposite. The singing MAGA man, Meatloaf, the only guy who could beat him at swearing, was told by an advocate that he shouldn't use such language when he was at the point of death.
Nor at any other point. But was a Meatloaf on the point of death?
Yes. He later fell into a stormwater retention pond and drowned. Bernie's frightened out of his wits.
Senator Bernie Sanders comes over.
Bernie, I have just been telling the climate envoy and the Pope. The climate deniers eerily lost a man.
This is nothing to joke about. It is worse than we thought. It was not an advocate, but an angel dressed as an advocate.
An angel?
Yes, an angel. She made away from Sweden with 6 sailors and her dad through the thick of everything. Maritime storms, goddams, Uber drivers who haven't been here as long as she has, police barricades, and Lord knows what else. I know one of them, de Pougenet. She says she's an angel. If ever I utter an oath again, may my soul be blasted to eternal damnation.
A very pious beginning, Senator. Here is the Vice President.
Oh, Holy Father, it is good of you to come all the way from the Vatican to bear witness when one of your flock may soon meet their Maker.
Please, Madame, I came when I could. The President is not the only soul worth saving.
Another lecture. Thank you. What a pity it is that though you are a pope, saints and angels don't come to see you.
What do you mean?
Ask that bully there, our climate envoy.
Hold your tongue. Do you hear?
Oh, I hear. You needn't shout. The whole White House can hear. Why don't you go and shout at the climate deniers and beat them for me?
You young...
Don't you raise your voice to me. It's high treason.
Not yet, Madam Vice President. The President may not be all there, but he's still with us.
Come. This will not do, please. Please, we must keep some sort of order.
Another lecture. Thank you.
This just came in. I should have expected more common sense from the Swedes. Some ship captain has transported a young lass here.
No, he is sending a saint, an angel. And she is coming to me, the Vice President, and not to you, Holy Father, holy as you are. She knows who shoulders the planet's future as well as you.
You cannot be allowed to see this touched girl.
But I am the country's leader, and I will.
Naughty! What would our wise president say?
That just shows your ignorance, Bluebeard. The president has a saint, a former president himself, who tells him everything he wants to know. I don't care what you say. I will have my saint too. And just like the president, mine will be younger.
this creature is not a saint. She's not even a respectable girl. She does not wear girls' clothes. She is dressed in pants, in a power suit like an advocate, and rides round with sailors. Do you suppose such a person can be admitted to the White House?
Stop! Did you say a girl wearing a power suit like armor? Like a soldier?
So the message describes her.
But by all that is holy... Oh, God, forgive me. What am I saying? This must be the angel that struck Meatloaf dead for MAGA swearing.
You see, a miracle.
She may strike the lot of us dead if we cross her.
Rubbish. Nobody has been struck dead. A blackguard who has been rebuked many times for swearing has fallen and been drowned. A mere coincidence.
Do not know what a coincidence is. I do know that the man is dead and that she told him he was gonna die.
We are all going to die, Senator.
Personally, I'm gonna tell her that I don't want to die until we get at least single-payer health care.
We can easily find out whether she's an angel or not. Let us arrange when she comes that we play my campaign walkout music and see whether she will find me out.
Yes, Bluebeard, I agree to that. First, the president's, then yours, and then my music. If she cannot figure out who's really in charge, I will have nothing to do with her.
This is a waste of time. Damn it.
Janet!
What, are you two on drugs?
You are old.
Anyway, you haven't read the end of the letter. They say she will persuade Congress to adopt the climate agreement and beat the fossil fuel industry for us.
Rot.
Well, Mr. Envoy, will you pass comprehensive climate change legislation for us with all your bullying?
Oh, do not throw that in my face again. Do you hear? I have done more fighting than you ever did or ever will. But I cannot be everywhere.
You have Governor Jay Inslee at the head of your troops in D.C., the brave Inslee, the handsome Inslee, the wonderful, invincible Inslee, the darling of all the ladies, the recipient of 2% of the primary votes. Is it likely that the young lass can do what he cannot do?
Why doesn't he persuade Congress to adopt the Paris Accord then?
Wind is against him.
How can the wind hurt him?
The hot air blowhards of the propaganda news media are a devil of a wind blowing the wrong way. What Inslee needs is a miracle. You tell me that what the girl did to Meatloaf was no miracle. No matter, it finished Meatloaf. If she changes the wind for Inslee, that may not be a miracle either, but it may finish the climate deniers. What harm is there in trying?
It is true that they seem extraordinarily impressed.
If they think she can beat the fossil fuel industry, all the rest of our advocates will think so too. I will find her and tell her. We are kind of buddies. She's a bit of a Bernie bro.
Sanders and Bluebeard exit.
I wonder, will she pick her out?
Of course she will.
Why? How will she know?
She will know what everybody in D.C. knows, that the Veep is the hippest figure in the White House, and that the man with disco music is Pete Buttigieg.
I never thought of that.
You are not so accustomed to miracles as I am. It is part of my profession.
But that would not be a miracle at all.
Why not?
Oh, well, come on. What is a miracle?
A miracle, my friend, is an event which creates a faith. That is the purpose and nature of miracles. They may seem very wonderful to the people who witness them, and very simple to those who perform them. That does not matter. If they confirm or create a faith, they are true miracles.
Even when they are frauds, do you mean?
Frauds deceive. An event which creates a faith does not deceive. Therefore, it is not a fraud, but a miracle. Parables are not frauds because they describe events that have never happened. Miracles are not frauds because they are often, I do not say always, very simple and innocent contrivances by which the priest fortifies the faith of his flock. When this girl picks out the Vipotis's music, it will not be a miracle for me. because I shall know how it has been done, and my faith will not be increased. But as for the others, if they feel the thrill of the supernatural and forget their sinful way in a sudden sense of the glory of God, it will be a miracle, and a blessed one. And you will find that the girl herself will be more affected than anyone else. She will forget how she really picked her out. So perhaps will you.
Well, I wish I were clever enough to know how much of you is God's Pope and how much the artful fox from Buenos Aires. Come on, or we shall be late for the fun, and I want to see it, miracle or no miracle.
Do not think that I am a lover of crooked ways, but surely everyone must see that the earth now cries out to us because of the harm we have inflicted on her by our irresponsible use and abuse of the goods with which God has endowed her. We have forgotten that we ourselves are dust of the earth. Our very bodies are made up of her elements. We breathe her air, and we receive life and refreshment from her waters. In the time we have, we must do what needs to be done. I have been trying to tell my flock that all is not lost. There is a new spirit arising in men. We are at the dawning of a wider epoch. If I were a simple monk and had not to rule men, I should seek peace for my spirit with Carson and Muir, rather than with the saints and their miracles.
Joan and Polly enter the East Room to some laughter.
I was under the impression that you came directly from the dock. I am a bit of a sailor myself, but that is rather unusual sailing attire.
I wear this because I am an advocate.
Ladies and gentlemen, I regret to inform you that the Russians have hacked the music system again. Please imagine you are hearing Hail to the Chief.
Where be the vice president? That's the president's music, but surely he can't be here. Everyone knows he is incapacitated.
Now dream of hearing High Hopes by Panic at the Disco.
You shortly will be in the presence of the vice president.
Come on, thou canst not fool me. That's Bluebeard's jam. Where be the Veep?
Please contemplate you are listening to Work That by Mary J. Blige. No, Senator Sanders, it is impractical to provide everyone with a kazoo.
Damn. I had some leftovers from New Hampshire. I should have brought them.
Hearing the song title, Joan opens the door into the cross hall to the state dining room and, grabbing the vice president's hand, pulls her into the East Room.
Vice President Harris, I am sent to you to drive the fossil fuel industry away from Congress and from America. I'm here to assure you that the time has come for you to accept the president's offer to resign and assume your duties as president, and resume your country's global leadership on the climate crisis.
You see, all of you, she knew who is leading. She looks beyond the superficial trappings to the beating heart within.
Oh, my Holy Father, I'm only a young student and you're filled with the blessedness and glory of the Creator herself. But you will touch me with your hands and give me your blessing, won't you? Your encyclical Laudato Si on caring for our earthly home speaks to me every day.
The old fox blushes.
Another miracle.
Oh, child, you are in love with religion.
Am I? I never thought of that. Is there any harm in it?
There is no harm in it, my child, but there is danger.
There's always danger if we do nothing. As you said, the earth must be taken care of, cultivated and protected. We cannot continue to squeeze it like an orange, and we can say this: taking care of the earth is a human right. Protecting human rights is worth the danger, don't you think, Holy Father? Oh, you have given me such strength, such courage. It must be a most wonderful thing to be Pope.
My children, your levity is rebuked by this maid's faith. I am, God help me, unworthy, but your mirth is a deadly sin.
We were laughing at her, not you.
What? Not at my unworthiness, but at her faith? Bluebeard, dismayed, prophesied that the anti-science blasphemer should be drowned in his sin.
No, it's not about meatloaf. It's not about me. It's not about what some people call me. It's not about left or right. It's all about scientific facts. And that we're not aware of the situation. Unless we start to focus everything on this, our targets will soon be out of reach.
Let us away. The maid comes with God's blessing to see the vice president. Let us withdraw.
They all leave.
Who's the tall fellow who acts so very grand?
That is our climate envoy, John Kerry. Like Bluebeard, he too was in the Navy, and like Bluebeard, ran for president once. Unfortunately, he was swift-boated, a foreshadowing of what the country has become.
I'll trouble you not to jibe, but we veterans.
He goes out.
What a gruff and grum. Why do you let him be so stuck up?
How can I prevent him? He bullies me. They all bully me.
Art afraid?
Yes, I am afraid. It's no use preaching to me about it. It's all very well for these politicos who have been in the Beltway for decades. They just do what they want and figure they can talk their way out of anything on the Sunday morning shows. I am not built that way, and there is an end of it.
Blethers, we're all like that to begin with. I shall put courage into thee.
But I don't want to have courage put into me. I want to bide my time and cover my bases.
It's no use, Kamala. Thou must face what the Creator puts on thee. If thou fail to make thyself president, you will only be left with a life of talk show punditry and trade show speeches. If you don't take power immediately and simply continue to procrastinate, our opportunity will be lost and our sorry fate sealed.
We shall see. I am not such a fool. I have my eyes open, and I can tell you that one good treaty is worth 10 good fights. These fighting fellows lose all on the treaties that they gain on the fights. If we can only have a treaty, the climate deniers are sure to have the worst of it because they are better at fighting than at thinking.
If the polluters win, it is they that will make the treaty. And then God help all of us. Thou must fight, Madame Vice President, whether thou will or no. For your own sake and for the planet's. I will go first to hearten thee. Let us take our courage in both hands. We need to focus every inch of our being on climate change. Because if we fail to do so, then all our achievements and progress have been for nothing. And all that will remain of our political leaders' legacy will be the greatest failure of human history. And they will be remembered as the greatest villains of all time. Because they have chosen not to listen and not to act.
Oh, child, I hear you. But you and others are asking me to take over and begin issuing executive orders, strong-arming the Senate and challenging the Supreme Court. Before the election, I dropped out of the race before the primaries. I don't have any kind of mandate. This is not the time to be any of these fine things you all have your heads full of. I want to be just what I am. Why can't you mind your own business and let me mind mine?
Minding your own business is like minding your own body. It's the shortest way to make yourself sick. What is my business? I tell thee it is the Creator's business we are here to do, not our own. I have a message to thee from her, and thou must listen to it, though thy heart break with the terror of it.
I don't want a message, but can you tell me any secrets? Can you do any cures? Can you turn lead into gold or anything of that sort?
I can turn thee into a president, and that is a miracle that will take some doing, it seems. I come to tell thee my voices say to become the greatest leader in the world, as her steward and her bailiff, her soldier and her servant. Will you be a poor little Judas and betray me and she that sent me?
Oh, if only I dare.
I shall dare. Dare and dare again in the Creator's name. Art thou for me or against me?
I'll risk it. I warn you, I may not be able to keep it up, but I'll risk it. You shall see. Hello, come back, everybody. Mind you, stand by and don't let me be bullied. Now I'm in for it, but no matter. Here goes.
The others shuffle back in.
After much thought, I will accept the president's offer to resign. I assume the presidency. I have given the command of the advocates to Greta, our Joan, the maid. The maid is to do as she likes with it.
What is this? I command the climate advocates.
Thou art answered, old Grum and Gruff. Who is for the planet and her maid? Who is to Congress with me?
For the planet and a maid, to Congress!
To Congress!
Scene 3. Governor and former presidential candidate Jay Inslee paces in circles in the Capitol's statuary hall.
Wind. The wind. The wind. Cable news trumpet steadfast when you should be wanton. Wanton when you should be steadfast. Change, curse you, change. Facebook, harlot of a wind, change. Wily wind, wanton wind, willful wind, will you ever support me again?
Joan, in splendid pantsuit armor, rushes in a blazing rage.
Be you Jay Inslee, the one-issue candidate?
Are you Joan, the maid?
Sure, whatever.
Where are your troops?
Behind me. They've cheated me. They've brought me to the wrong side of the Capitol. I want to be on the Senate side. I want to be in the room where it happens.
I told them to.
Why did you? The fossil fuel supporters are on the other side.
The climate deniers are on both sides.
But the Senate is in play. We must fight the goddams and their senators there. How can we cross the rotunda? It is filled with the National Guard soldiers.
Well, there is the crypt.
In God's name, then, let us cross the crypt and rise to meet them.
It seems simple, but it cannot be done.
Who says so?
I say so. I was in Congress myself, you know.
I know. I have a wall poster of your comments on the House floor. What is a fish without a river? What is a bird without a tree to nest in? What is an Endangered Species Act without any enforcement mechanism to ensure their habitat is protected? It is nothing. Your words have helped me remember what is important.
The Senate still can't be persuaded, and older and wiser heads than mine are of the same opinion.
Then your older and wiser heads are fatheads. They have made a fool of you, and now they want to make a fool of me too, bringing me to the wrong side of the Capitol. Do you not know that I bring you better help than ever came to any general or cause?
Your own?
No, the help and counsel of the Creator. Which way to the crypt?
You are impatient, maid.
Is this a time for patience? Tell that to the communities crying out for environmental justice. Our enemy is at our gates, and here we stand doing nothing. Oh, why are you not fighting? Our house is on fire. I'm here to say our house is on fire. Adults keep saying we owe it to the young people to give them hope. But I don't want your hope. I don't want you to be hopeful. I want you to panic. I want you to feel the fear I feel every day. And then I want you to act. I want you to act as you would in a crisis. I want you to act as if our house is on fire. Because it is. Listen to me. I will deliver you from fear.
No, my friend. Come with me.
They walk down some stairs and come to the crypt, a large room under the Capitol rotunda.
If you delivered me from fear, I should be a good knight for a storybook, but a very bad leader in the advocate army. Come, let me begin to make a soldier of you. Do you see that old man on the Senate side of the crypt? The one who looks like he already lives here?
Yes. Is he ours or the goddams?
He is the minority leader. With only that old man, I could hold against an army of advocates. The climate deniers have more than 10 times 10 goddams in their effort to hold against us.
They cannot hold against the Creator. I will get those votes.
Single-handed?
Our supporters will get them. I will lead them.
Not a person will follow you.
I will not look back to see whether anyone is following me.
Good. You have the makings of a soldier in you. You are in love with war.
Oh, and the Pope said I was in love with religion.
God forgive me. I am a little in love with war myself, the ugly devil.
I am an advocate soldier. I do not want to be thought of as a girl. I will not dress as a girl. I do not care for many things girls care for. They dream of love and of money. I dream of leading a charge, and of killing bad bills and passing good ones.
You must know that I welcome you as a saint, not as a soldier. I have daredevils enough at my call if they could help me.
I am not a daredevil. I am a servant of the Creator. My heart is full of courage, not anger. I will lead and your people will follow. That is all I can do. But I must do it. You shall not stop me.
We must wait for the right time. You need to wait until there is a groundswell of demand for change that is felt by the man at the end of the crypt.
What do you mean? You just told me he is in the minority.
Doesn't matter. The United States is a republic.
Not a democracy? You should fix that. The Creator is waiting for your advocates.
Let her send us a wind of supportive public opinion, then. My boats are downstream. They cannot come up against both wind and current. We must wait until you and your Creator change the wind. Come, let me take you to the chapel of the U.S. Capitol.
No, the climate deniers will not yield to prayers. They understand nothing but hard knocks and slashes. I will not go to church until we have beaten them.
You must. I have business for you there.
What business?
To pray for a wind of public support and to make some phone calls. I have prayed. My prayers are not answered, but yours may be.
Oh, yes. You're right. I'm going to make a ton of posts and calls, and I will pray. I will tell Pope Francis. He will ask the Creator to give me a woke wind.
6 hours later.
Check your messages. Students and workers are striking for climate change all across America. The Insta polls are showing solid support.
The wind has changed. Look here, the committee logjam is broken. The Creator has spoken.
Trust my voices.
Now for the Dirksen building. You command the Climate Crisis Army. I am your soldier. You dared me to follow. Dare you lead?
Governor Inslee, dear comrade in arms, help me. Oh, my eyes are blinded with tears. Set my foot on the ladder and say, up, Joan.
Never mind the tears. You can spot our targets by the Senate pins and their suit lapels.
Huzzah! Try to keep up with me, Jay.
For clean energy, carbon reduction, and sustainability!
Scene 4. Senator Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Congresswoman Liz Cheney talk in a corner of the Capitol crypt.
I must say, you take our situation very coolly indeed.
What is the matter?
The matter is that the fossil fuels industry has been defeated.
That happens, you know. It's only in history books and ballads that the enemy is always defeated.
But we are being defeated over and over again. The EU, the UK, the US.
Oh, the EU.
I know what you're going to say. That was a clear case of witchcraft and sorcery.
More like social media. It is 24/7 and transcends borders. Their message does worry me, though.
Why? Can it hurt us?
Well, men cannot serve two masters. If this can't serve in their planet once takes hold of them, goodbye to the authority of their national leaders, and goodbye to the authority of the church. That is, goodbye to all way of doing business.
What are we to do?
Easy, easy. We shall burn the witch and beat old 2% Inslee all in good time.
You have first to catch her out.
Or buy her. I will offer a king's ransom. But speaking of the devil, let me take the lead here with the Archbishop Dolan. You know he doesn't back the Pope on climate change, or much else for that matter. And if we can deny her the support of the church's millions, she will be left just talking to her vegan friends.
Archbishop of New York, Timothy Dolan, enters the room.
Well, Archbishop, I appreciate your thoughtful prayer to open the Republican convention, and thanks for the shout-out on Fox and Friends. You find us in one of our unlucky moments. Harris is about to become president, and I must not deceive you nor flatter your hopes. We cannot prevent it.
It is a masterstroke of the maids.
We were not fairly beaten. We are never fairly beaten.
Okay. Our friend here takes the view that the young woman is a sorceress. It would, I presume, be the duty of your Reverend Lordship to denounce her.
If she were acting in my diocese, yes.
Well, you may get your chance. It wouldn't surprise me if she visits New York.
If the devil wanted to damn a young girl, do you think so easy a task would cost him the winning of a battle? No. Any trumpery troll could do that much if the girl could be damned at all. I see this girl. She is inspired, but diabolically inspired.
I told you she was a witch.
She is not a witch. She is a heretic.
What difference does that make?
You climate deniers are strangely blunt in the mind. All these things that you call witchcraft, or a conspiracy, or the deep state, are capable of a natural explanation. The woman's miracles would not impose on a golden doodle. She does not claim them as miracles herself. What do her victories prove but that she has a better head on her shoulders than the Ivy League all-shucks squad of Cruz, Cotton, and Holly, and that the courage of faith, even though it be false faith, will always outstay the courage of wrath?
My lord, I wipe the slate as far as witchcraft goes. Nonetheless, we must burn the woman.
I cannot burn her. The church cannot be seen destroying her, and my first duty is to seek the girl's salvation.
No doubt. But you do destroy people occasionally.
No. When the church cuts off a obstinate heretic as a dead branch from the tree of life, the heretic is handed over to the secular army. The church has no part in what the secular army may see fit to do.
Precisely. And I shall be the secular army in this case. Well, my lord, hand over your dead branch, and I will see to it that our media talking heads, trolls, and hackers are ready for it. If you will answer for the church's part, I will answer for the secular part.
I can answer for nothing. You climate deniers are too prone to treat the church as a mere political convenience. True, to make a political point, some of my fellow bishops would deny the sitting president communion. But, as I have said on Fox News, I would take a different tact and try to save his soul instead. The soul of this schoolgirl is of equal value with yours before the throne of God, and my first duty is to save it.
Just so. And God grant that her reputation may be saved, and she publicly professes global warming may not be human-caused. But the practical problem would seem to be how to save her soul without saving her reputation. For we must face it, my lord, if this cult of the maid goes on, our cause is lost.
Has she ever in all her utterances said one word of the church? Never. It is always her creator and herself. If, as she says, the globe is warming, it is God's will. If man is the cause of the warming, it is because God has willed it thus. Yes, the Holy Father has instructed that we change our ways, but surely mankind's many needs must come first.
What can you expect? A beggar on horseback? Her head is turned. For every scientist she may quote, we can produce a stalwart fellow who will deny their claims. One is as valid as the other. A difference of opinion means that it is not fact. We will not be canceled.
She has her voices from His Holiness and the others. It is not the Mother of God now to whom we must look for intercession, but to Joan the maid. Let all this woman's sins be forgiven her, except only this sin, for it is a sin against the church. To the doxing fire she shall go if she once falters.
You feel strongly about it naturally, but have you noticed that in these tweets of hers, she proposes to all the younger generation a transaction that would wreck the whole social structure of Christendom? Well, Do you not see how this girl's idea strikes at us? Her idea is that the people should go on strike till we take genuine action against climate change.
What do you care as long as you are still in charge? It is an abstract idea, a mere form of words.
By no means. It is a cunning device to supersede the status quo. Now, by the maid's doctrine, every country will have to meet their climate change goals, no exceptions.
Need you fear that? You are the makers of influencers, after all. TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they reign according to your pleasure.
Yes, but only as long as the people follow their leaders and know the president only as a traveling show, owning nothing but what the Senate allows. If the people's thoughts and hearts were turned to the president, and we became only the executive's servants in their eyes, well, she could break us across her knee one by one. And then, what should we be but livid courtiers in her halls?
I have no sympathy with her political presumptions. But as a priest, I have gained a knowledge of the minds of the common people. And there you will find yet another most dangerous idea. I can express it only by such phrases as one people, one world, or globalism. I can tell you that it is essentially anti-church and anti-nations, and that hurts you and me. The world as we know it will perish.
I know as a matter of plain common sense that this woman is a rebel, and that is enough for me. She rebels against nature by wearing man's clothes and fighting. She rebels against the church by usurping the divine authority of the Pope. She rebels against governments by going on strike. And all these rebellions are only excuses for her great rebellion against our biggest donors, polluters. That is not to be endured. Let her perish. Let her get burned. Let her not infect the whole flock. It is expedient that one woman be destroyed to protect our way of life.
We seem to be agreed.
I will not imperil my soul. I will uphold the justice of the church. I will strive to the utmost for this woman's salvation.
I am sorry for the poor girl. I hate these severities. I will spare her if I can.
I would burn her with my own ergonomic keyboard.
Sancta simplicitas.
Scene 5. On the Truman balcony of the White House after the swearing in of the 47th President of the United States, Kamala Harris, Joan sings to herself a traditional Swedish folk song, Who Can Sail Without the Wind?
I came out here to escape, but can't you hear? Even in the city it is too quiet, too peaceful. There are no birds, there are no bugs, there are no bees. 60% of the wild animals are gone. They don't care that the living planet is dying, Jay.
I know, Greta. That is why we need you to just be a Joan a little while longer. You have had enough time. It's all over. The chamber is empty and the streets are full. They're calling for the maid. We have told them you are staying here alone to rest, but they want to see you again.
No. Let the new president have all the glory.
Please, Greta. You have inspired her, and you should go through with it. Come. It will be over in an hour. It's better than the crypt at the Capitol, eh?
Oh, dear Governor, how I wish it were the crypt again. We lived at the crypt.
Yes, Faith. And we're ruined, too, some of us.
Isn't it strange, Jay? I am such a coward. I am frightened beyond words before a battle. But it is so dull afterwards when there's no danger. Oh, so dull.
You must learn to be abstemious in war, just as you are in food and drink, my little saint.
Dear Jay, I think you like me as a soldier likes his comrade.
You need it, poor innocent child. You have not many friends in the Beltway.
Why do all these politicos hate me? What have I done to them? I've asked nothing for myself, even after spurring rapid passage of new Clean Air and Water Acts. I convinced Kamala to become president, and all the honors she is handing out have gone to them. I brought them luck and victory. I have set them right when they were doing all sorts of stupid things. For heaven's sake, I warned all these macho men that chemical endocrine disruptors have cut their sperm count by 59% and may shrink their penises. Why do they not love me?
Simpleton! Do you expect stupid people to love you for showing them up? Do blundering old military dugouts love the successful young captains who supersede them? Do ambitious politicians love the climbers who take the front seats from them? Do archbishops enjoy being played off of their own altars, even by saints? Why, I should be jealous of you myself if I were ambitious enough.
You are the pick of the basket here, Jay. The only friend I have among all these people. I'll wager your father was a teacher. I'll go back to school after the United Nations Climate Action Summit in New York.
I am not so sure that they will let you attend. Some of them would rather the UN stopped you, I think. You are a threat to rulers everywhere. So please, take care.
Jay, the world is too wicked for me. If not for my voices, I should lose all heart. That is why I had to steal away to hear them alone after the swearing in. Thank you. I'm ready to go back in.
They leave the balcony and enter the yellow Oval Room. New President Harris breaks off her conversation with new Vice President Buttigieg and Senator Bernie Sanders.
Ah, the maid.
I have helped you assume the presidency. My work is done. I'm going back to school.
Oh, are you? Well, that will be very nice. Learning is an important part of life, you know.
But a dull one.
You will find the petticoats tripping you up after leaving them off for so long.
You will miss the fighting. It's a bad habit, but a grand one, and the hardest of all to break yourself of.
Still, we don't want you to stay if you would really rather go home.
I know well that none of you will be sorry to see me go.
Well, I shall be able to swear when I want to, but I shall miss you at times.
Bernie, in spite of all your sins and swears, we shall meet online. For I love you as I love Pitu, my old sheepdog. Pitu could kill a wolf. You will kill the fossil fuel wolves until they go back to their grounded private jets and become good dogs. Will you not?
You and I, together. Yes.
No. I shall only last a few years from the beginning.
What?
What?
I know it somehow.
Nonsense.
Jay, do you think you will be able to drive them out?
Yes, I shall drive them out. They beat us because we thought battles were debates and doorbelling meetups. We played the fool while the climate deniers took war seriously. They knew the real war is about naked power, but I have beaten them before, and I shall beat them again.
You will not be cruel to them, Jay?
The goddams will not yield to tender handling. We did not begin it.
Jay, before I go home, let us take the UN in New York. Here they want me to testify in front of a House committee, but they really only want to use me as a foil, to grandstand on TV and feature me in their fundraising messages.
I don't know. We are finally making headway here in the U.S.
What has happened is not enough. Things are stalling. I'll just submit some legitimate scientific papers to the House committee and see if they can get some attention. The papers could get worldwide attention in New York. More needs to be done. My father and I are going.
Oh, no, we shall lose everything we have gained. Oh, don't let us have any more fighting. We can make a very good treaty.
Treaty?
Well, why not, now that I am president?
Pope Francis enters.
Holy Father, the maid wants to start fighting again.
Have we ceased fighting then? Are we at peace?
No, I suppose not. But let us be content with what we have done. Let us make a treaty. Our luck is too good to last, and now is our chance to stop before it turns. I know how this works. One day, you have a good debate, and you're the front runner, and the next day you are planning a graceful exit. Something is better than nothing.
Luck. Something will be the end of us. Treaties are not enough. Goals and guidance are not enough. We need strict laws with substantive penalties and real consequences. The Creator has fought for us, and you call it luck?
Maid, the President addressed herself to me, not to you. You forget yourself. You very often forget yourself.
Then speak you, and tell her that it is not the Creator's will that she should take her hand from the tiller.
You came clothed with the virtue of humility, and because God blessed your enterprises accordingly, you have stained yourself with the sin of pride. The old Greek tragedy is rising among us, and it is the chastisement of hubris.
Yes, she thinks she knows better than everyone else.
But I do know better than any of you seem to. And I'm not proud. I never speak unless I know I'm right.
How do you know you are right?
I always know. My voices.
Oh, your voices, your voices. Why don't the voices come to me? I am president, not you.
They do come to you, but you do not hear them. You have not sat in the field in the evening listening for them, or in the bowsprit after a rain, or early and alone outside Parliament before the garbage trucks start to rumble. But what voices do you need to tell you what the blacksmith can tell you? That you must strike while the iron is hot. I tell you, I will speak at the United Nations, and the whole world will sanction you for coddling the polluters.
That is what I say, too. We should go through them like a lightsaber through a flagon of Vermont maple syrup. What do you say, 2% Ensley?
Pluck and impetuosity are good servants in war, but bad masters. They have delivered us into the hands of the climate deniers every time we have trusted to them. We never know when we are beaten. That is our greatest fault.
You never know when you are victorious. That is a worse fault. I shall have to make you carry looking glasses in battle to convince you that the goddams have not cut off all your noses. You would have been writing letters to Congress still, you and your councils of war, if I had not made you attack. You should always attack. And if you only hold on long enough, the enemy will stop first.
I know what you think of us, General Greta.
Never mind that, Jay. Tell them what you think of me.
I think that God was on your side. For I've forgotten how the wind changed and how our hearts changed when you came. And by my faith I shall never deny that it was in your sign that we conquered. I tell you that your little hour of miracles is over. And that from this time on, he who plays the war game best will win, if the luck is on his side.
Ah, if. If ifs and buts were pots and pans, there'd be no need of tinkers. I tell you, Mr. 2%, your art of war is no use, because your advocates are no good for real fighting. War is only a game to them. Deep pocket donors, popularity contests, and astroturf campaigns. Can't you see that all the like of that is gone by and done with? What use is doorbelling against Facebook?
Not content with being Pope Joan, you must be Caesar and Alexander as well.
Pride will have a fall, Joan.
Oh, never mind whether it is pride or not. Is it true? Is it common sense?
It is true. Half of us are afraid of having our handsome noses broken, and the other half are out for paying off their mortgages. Let her have her way, Governor Ensley. She does not know everything, but she has got hold of the right end of the stick. Fighting is not what it was, and those who know least about it often make the best job of it.
I know all of that. I do not fight in the old way. I have learnt the lesson. But Joan never counts the costs at all. She goes ahead and trusts her Creator. But I know Joan, and I see that someday she will go ahead when no one's done the prep work, when she has only 10 supporters to do the work of 100. She will be humiliated by the enemy, and then the savage backlash on social media and TV will begin. So now tell me, all of you, which of you will lift a finger to save Joan once the fossil fuel billionaires have wounded her? The day after the enemy finds out that she is as vulnerable as I am and not a bit more invincible, she will not be worth the career of a single soldier to us. And I will not risk that life, much as I cherish her as a companion in arms.
I don't blame you, Jay. You're right. I am not worth one advocate's career if I falter. The church is richer than you. I put my trust in the church.
Woman, they will drag you through the blogs and burn you as a hypocrite.
Oh, Holy Father, do not say that. It is impossible. People know me. They could not burn a woman for speaking the truth. You would not let them burn me with their armies of trolls and hackers.
How could I prevent them?
You would speak in the name of the church. I would go anywhere with your blessing to protect me.
I have no blessing for you, while you are proud and independent.
Oh, why will you go on saying things like that? I am not proud. I'm a student, and so ignorant that I do not know A from B. How could I be proud?
It is a waste of time admonishing you.
It always comes back to the same thing. She is right, and everyone else is wrong.
Take this as your last warning. If you are destroyed through setting your private judgment above mine, the church disowns you and leaves you to whatever fate your presumption may bring upon you. The president agrees and will distance herself from you. When you pass through these doors into the sunlight, the crowd will cheer you. They will bring their families and phones to snap selfies to turn your head and madden you with the self-confidence that is leading you to your destruction. But you will be nonetheless alone. They cannot save you. We, and we only, can stand between you and the stake at which our enemies have burnt so many others for the sake of money, ratings, and power.
Where would you all have been now if I had heeded that sort of truth? There's no help, no counsel in any of you. Yes, I am alone on earth. I've always been alone. But I am wiser now, and nobody is any the worse for being wiser. Do you not think you can frighten me by telling me that I am alone? My loneliness shall be my strength too. It is better to be alone with the Creator. In her strength, I will dare and dare and dare until I can't go on. I will go out now to the common people and let the love in their eyes comfort me for the hate in yours. You will all be glad to see me burnt, but if I go through the fire, I shall go through it knowing that even if I am deleted, the Creator will endure.
She goes from them.
You know, Jay, the woman is quite impossible. I don't dislike her really, but what are you to do with such a character?
As God is my judge, Bluebeard, if she wanted to eat lunch every day at the Mar-a-Lago omelet bar, I would be her wingman. But if she plays the fool at the UN and gets caught out, I must leave her to her doom.
Then you had better chain me up, for I could follow her to hell when the spirit rises in her like that.
She disturbs my judgment too. There is a dangerous power in her outbursts. But the pit is open at her feet, and for good or evil, we cannot turn her from it.
If only she would keep quiet or go home.
Scene 6. At the United Nations Climate Action Summit UNICEF press conference, Greta Thunberg joined 15 other children.
My message is that we'll be watching you. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. And yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the middle of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you? For more than 30 years, the science has been crystal clear. How dare you continue to look away and come here saying that you're doing enough when the politics and solutions needed are still nowhere in sight? How dare you pretend that this can be solved with just business as usual and some technical solutions? You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say, we will never forgive you. We will not let you get away with this. Right here, right now, is where we draw the line. The world is waking up. And change is coming, whether you like it or not. Thank you.
Scene 7. An empty UN meeting room. Mitch McConnell and former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani are talking behind the head table.
Welcome back to New York, Leader McConnell.
Well, thanks, Rudy. Can you get me some coffee?
I'll tell you, the maid has blundered. The school she's playing hooky from must be What's the Matter You? She makes a gaffe in her UN speech, and instead of lying low, she doubles down by immediately agreeing to be interviewed by a climate-denying hero like Tucker Carlson. Because, why worry, she has the creator on her side. The maid says she wants the truth about the facts to reach all of the people, but she doesn't seem to understand that she's in a holy war where facts, let alone the truth, don't matter.
Well, we'll see that she doesn't. Finish setting up here. It could get hot in here. So, Rudy, drink some water. Cool yourself off. I don't want you springing a leak. Also, find the Archbishop and give him a hint that he can have a word with me before the panel, if he wishes. And mind you, behave yourself. Do not address him as Pious Peter.
No, Senator. I shall be kind to him, because when the maid is brought in, Pious Peter will have to pick a peck of pickled peppers. My friend Andrea loves that one.
Again, his Christian name is Timothy.
Yeah, when the smoke rises and they make a pope, you get to pick your own name. Now, I'm getting 2-1 on Dolan grabbing the papal seal, and 7-1 on him picking Peter to be his regnal name.
You have wasted your undoubtedly ill-gotten funds. Out of respect to the first pope, St. Peter, the name is never bestowed.
Never? Really? Come on, you've met Dolan.
The Archbishop of New York, Timothy Dolan, former White House aide Kellyanne Conway, and Fox News personality Tucker Carlson enter.
So I open the show going after this Times reporter, Taylor Lorenz, who was bitching that the harassment and smear campaign I've had to endure over the past year has destroyed my life. The scope of attacks has been unimaginable. There's no escape. It has taken everything from me. Boo-hoo! So I'm doing her a favor, because what's coming will expand her imagination.
Leader McConnell.
Good morrow, your lordship. Tucker, Kellyanne. You know the mayor. I think we're on the home stretch, folks. That UN conference has the maid on the run. Imagine standing up before the world press and flat out threatening us. The pushback is only growing, and they know it. Desperation is setting in. How else can you explain her agreeing to sit down with young Tucker here?
Desperation? Meh. I'm thinking pure hubris. She thinks she can sail rings around us. We're just stupid, evil meat sacks who want to sit in our F-350s with the engines running at the drive-thru, salivating for our bacon cheeseburgers.
Hey, don't forget the wings. Oh, sorry, never mind. You're worried about getting sauce on your silk tie. Bet you long for your bow tie decades, don't you, Tucker?
At least it would be on a tie and not on my face. Better a little spicy buffalo than that black road tar you put on your hair, Rudy. Did you lift a 55-gallon drum from the road department on your way out?
Enough. Grow up. This isn't the goddamn House of Representatives, for Christ's sake. Now, forgive me, Your Grace. Passions are running high. You have an acquaintance with political notions. How will this play out for the church? Where is the Pope on this? Will he continue to support this heretic?
I did not at first think this was a case of heresy at all. I regarded it as a political battle, and the maid as a war combatant. But having just witnessed her lead here in New York and in 185 other countries, the biggest climate protest in the world, this may be one of the gravest cases of heresy within my experience. I am confident the Pope will come to see that the message and the messenger have become a dissonant hymn.
Oh, well, that is good news, folks. I will not attempt to conceal from you that our patience was becoming strained.
So I gathered from the threats your digital soldiers have made to drown those of our people who favor the maid.
Dear me. Now, at all events, their intentions were friendly to you, my lord.
I am determined that the woman shall have a fair opportunity today. If she is reasonable, admits that there are very fine people on both sides, and disavows all this talk of voices and the Creator, then we will leave her in peace. There will be no need to set the flock against her to punish her evil ways. The justice of the church is not a mockery, Senator. Agreed, Tucker?
Never will there be a fairer examination within my experience, Senator.
Sir, it will be my painful duty to ramrod the case against the girl. But believe me, I would back off today and hasten to her defense if I did not know that men far my superiors in learning and piety, in eloquence and persuasiveness, have been sent to reason with her, to explain to her the danger she is running and the ease with which she may avoid it.
Take care, Miss Conway. All that you say is true, but if you make the senator believe it, I will not answer for your life, and hardly for my own.
Oh, my lord, you are very hard on us poor climate deniers. But we certainly do not share your pious desire to save the maid. In fact, I tell you now plainly that her digital death is a political necessity, which I regret, but cannot help. If the church lets her off the hook...
If the church lets her off the hook, woe to the man who dares lay a digital finger on her. The church is not subject to political necessity.
Well, with political help, the church was the largest recipient of the COVID-19 paycheck program money, $1.5 billion, while having the largest reserve.
No. Reporters invented that story when none existed and sought to bash the church with it. They are trying to cancel the church.
Gentlemen, you need have no anxiety about the result. You have an invincible ally in the matter, one who is far more determined than you that she shall burn.
And who is this very convenient partisan, may I ask?
Why, the maid herself. Unless you put a gag in her mouth, you cannot prevent her from convicting herself in the public eye 10 times over every time she opens it.
Well, by all means, do your best for her if you are quite sure that it will be of no avail. I should be sorry to have to act without the blessing of the church.
And yet they say politicos are hypocrites. You play for your side, Senator, even at the peril of your soul. I cannot but admire such devotion, but I dare not go so far myself. I fear damnation.
If we feared damnation, we could never govern, Your Grace.
He exits.
What scoundrels these climate-denying senators are.
All political power makes men scoundrels.
Congresswoman Cheney and former White House advisors Jared Kushner and Stephen Miller enter.
Good morning, Congresswoman Cheney, Mr. Kushner, Mr. Miller.
I have to make a protest, my lord.
You make a great many.
Without question, she must be burned. Hold on, Jared. I'm not sure you've got a dog in this Gentile hunt.
But is there any great harm in the girl's heresy? Is it not merely her simplicity? We can aid her, direct her to the correct websites, let her see there are many possible reasons for variations in climate temperatures, and help her see the truth in the denial of the reality that she and her atheist scientists put forth.
If you had seen what I have seen of heresy, you would not think it a light thing, even in the most apparently harmless and even lovable and pious origins. Heresy begins with people who are, to all appearance, better than their neighbors. A gentle and pious girl may be the founder of a heresy that will wreck both church and the status quo, if not ruthlessly stamped out in time. Mark what I say, a girl who quarrels with her clothes, kicks off her heels, and puts on the suit of a man is like the man who kicks off his Air Jordans and dresses like John the Baptist. They are followed, as surely as the night follows the day, by bands of wild women and men who refuse to wear any clothes at all. When maids will neither marry nor take regular vows, and men reject marriage and exalt their lusts into divine inspirations, then, as surely as summer follows the spring, they begin with polygamy and end by incest. You must not fall into the common error of mistaking these simpletons for liars and hypocrites. They believe honestly and sincerely that their diabolical inspiration is divine. Therefore, you must be on your guard against your natural compassion. You are all, I hope, merciful. How else could you have devoted your lives to public service through elected or appointed office or hypothesizing on Fox News? You are going to see before you a young girl, pious and chaste. For I must tell you that the things said of her by our climate-denying friends are supported by no evidence, whilst there is abundant testimony that her excesses have been excesses of passion and charity, and not of worldliness and wantonness. I am compassionate by nature as well as by my profession, and though the work I have to do may seem cruel to those who do not know how much more cruel it would be to leave it undone. Anger is a bad counselor. Cast out anger. Pity is sometimes worse. Cast out pity, but do not cast out mercy. Remember only that justice comes first.
Okay. Rudy, open up the doors and let the attendees in.
Joan enters and sits down with Tucker Carlson, facing the audience.
If I may, I would like to make a statement before we begin. Today's leaders all over the world are speaking of an existential crisis. The climate emergency is discussed on countless panels and summits. Commitments are being made. Big speeches are given. Yet when it comes to action, we are still in a state of denial. The climate and ecological crisis has never once been treated as a crisis. The gap between what we need to do and what's actually being done is widening by the minute. I hope this interview is not more of the same.
Let me assure you it won't be. First of all, let's just catch up on how you came to be here at the United Nations, so far from home.
They are seen talking. 10 minutes go by.
Well, it was refreshing to hear you admit that not every single scientist in the world believes that humans are the cause of climate change. There are two sides to every issue. I am sure that will be news to many of your fellow climate advocates. That's a bit of a gotcha, isn't it, Greta? Oh, no. I'm going to go with what your Bernie bros call you. It's Joan, isn't it?
You're twisting what I said. You really care more about being deliberately rude than finding solutions to the climate crisis, don't you?
Moving on. We have gone over how we got here, your voices, your solitary strike, your blowing up on social media, your thousands of followers also skipping school, your carbon-neutral yacht passage to America, your meeting with the Pope, your changing the direction of the public opinion when concerning the climate agreement, your empowering of the vice president to take control, and the giant worldwide climate protest you lead before coming to speak at the United Nations. Quite a list of accomplishments, and you claim you have just been guided by your voices, passing on the instructions of your creator. Well, as I am sure Archbishop Dolan would agree, that is heresy.
Archbishop Dolan, Kellyanne Conway, Stephen Miller, and Jared Kushner join them at the table.
Welcome to your grace, Kellyanne Conway, to former senior advisors Stephen Miller, and to jack of all trades, Jared Kushner. Joan, you have offended these pillars of American society, and I agreed to allow them to sit in on our little chat to assess how they are going to respond to your provocation.
Heresy, provocation, gotcha talking points. It is great nonsense. Nobody could be such a fool as to think that, could they? Oh, I am so sorry, Tucker. I mean, Hannity is agitated, weak, and confused, but you are in a serious cognitive decline.
You hear, my grace, how I am reviled in the execution of my duty by this woman.
Joan, that you will be doing yourself no good by giving pert answers. You are in great jeopardy. You have threatened very powerful elements of every global society. Even with the Holy Father's favor, you have threatened the Church. You are on the razor's edge of having your life torn asunder in unimaginable ways.
But you will not talk sense to me. I am reasonable if you will be reasonable.
Excuse me, Kellyanne Conway. This is not yet in order. The time for questions is after she has sworn to tell us the whole truth.
But I cannot tell you the whole truth. It is an old saying that he who tells too much truth is sure to be hanged.
Go ahead, Stephen Miller, our immigration policy Kaiser.
Your Grace, she should be put to the torture. That's what we do on the border. We drill down and find out everything there is to know and tell the world. If that isn't enough, we get creative. Where do you think Tucker gets all his people are saying segments?
You hear, Joan? This is what happens to the obdurate. Think before you answer. Has she been shown the instruments?
Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg enters, typing on a laptop. Suddenly, Greta's hacked, disfigured Facebook page appears on a large screen.
Our executioner, Mr. Zuckerberg.
They are ready, Your Grace. She has seen them.
If you tear me limb from limb until you separate my soul from my body, you will get nothing out of me beyond what I have told you. What more is there to tell that you could understand? Besides, I cannot bear to be hurt, and if you hurt me, I will say anything you'd like to stop the pain. But I will take it all back afterwards, so what is the use of it?
Yes, Jared. Give our regards to Ivanka.
Thanks. There's much in what she says. We should proceed mercifully.
But the torture is customary.
It must not be applied wantonly. If the accused will confess voluntarily, then its use cannot be justified.
But this is unusual and irregular. We always go after everyone to some degree. It is their fault if they don't practice good digital hygiene. The base expects it. Well, that and going after families and friends.
Do you want to torture the girl for the mere pleasure of it?
But it is not a pleasure. It is customary. It is always done.
That is so. Fox News needs to feed.
The woman is a progressive. She is not going to just admit that most of oil spills are false flag operations and that trees pollute more than cars. She will need persuasion. It is always done.
It will not be done today if it is not necessary. Let there be an end of this. I will not have it said that we proceeded on forced confessions.
Your lordship is merciful, of course, but it is a great responsibility to depart from the usual practice.
Thou art a rare noodle, Stephen Miller. Do what was done last time as I rule, eh?
You wanton, dare call me noodle.
Patience, patience. I fear you will soon be only too terribly avenged.
Noodle indeed.
Meanwhile, let us not be moved by the rough side of a lass's tongue.
Come, we are wasting time on trifles. Joan, I am going to put a most solemn question to you. Take care how you answer, for your life as you know it and salvation are at stake on it. You surely realize that a primary reason you have not been vilified is that the Holy Father, and I may say myself, have asked the climate deniers to abstain from moving against you. Will you, for all you have said and done, be it good or bad, accept the judgment of God's church on earth? If the church tells the over 1 billion souls who follow its teachings that climate change is out of our hands and in the hands of God,
I will obey the church.
You will?
Provided it does not command anything impossible.
She imputes to the church the error and folly of commanding the impossible.
If you command me to declare that all I have done and said, and all the visions and revelations I have had, were not from the Creator, then that is impossible. I will not declare for anything in the world. What the voices made me do, I will never go back on. That is what I mean by impossible. And in case the church should bid me to do anything contrary to the message I have from the Creator, I will not consent to it, no matter what it may be.
The church, contrary to God. What do you say now? Flat heresy. This is beyond everything.
My lord, do you need anything more than this?
Woman, you have said enough to burn 10 heretics. Will you not be warned? Will you not understand?
I believe that the Creator is wiser than I, and it is her messages that guide me.
You do not know what you are saying, child. Do you want to ruin yourself? Listen, do you not believe that the Pope is hearing from your Creator?
Yes. When have I ever denied it?
Good. That means, does it not, that you are subject to the Pope, to the cardinals, the archbishops, and the bishops for whom his lordship stands here today?
The Creator, the ecosystem, the earth, must be served first.
Then your voices command you not to submit yourself to the church?
My voices do not tell me to disobey the church, but the Creator must be served first.
And you, and not the church, are to be the judge?
What other judgment can I judge by but my own?
Oh, my.
Out of your own mouth you have condemned yourself. We have striven for your salvation to the verge of sinning ourselves. We have opened the door to you again and again, and you have shut it in our faces and in the face of God. Dare you pretend, after what you have said, that you are in a state of grace?
If I am not, may God bring me to it. If I am, may God keep me in it.
That is a very good reply, Your Grace.
Excuse me, were you in a state of grace when you spent 2 weeks sailing across the Atlantic with strangers, a group of older men? Or when you wear men's clothes and parade around in a pantsuit, a power suit, not even wearing high heels? It is indecent, unnatural, and abominable.
Oh, devil take the sailboat, the high heels, and you too! We are here to discuss heresy! And no sooner do we come to the root of the matter than we are thrown back by idiots who understand nothing but titillation!
But my voices tell me I should dress as a soldier.
Joan, does that not prove to you that the voices are the voices of evil spirits?
No. What can be plainer common sense? I was an advocate working with and leading advocates. If I were to dress as a girl, they would think of me as a girl. And then what would become of me? If I dress as an advocate soldier, they think of me as a soldier. And we can focus on saving the environment. That is why Rachel Carson tells me I must not dress as a girl until she gives me leave.
My lord, what she says is, God knows, very wrong and shocking. But there is a grain of worldly sense in it, such as it might impose on a simple young maiden.
If we were as simple in school as you are in the Beltway, there would soon be no wheat to make bread for you.
Joan, we are all trying to save you. His lordship is trying to save you. But you are blinded by a terrible pride and self-sufficiency.
Why do you say that? I have said nothing wrong. I do not understand.
Mark Zuckerberg, the executioner, enters.
We know that, Joan. We're not so foolish as you think us. Do you see that man who stands behind you?
Your torturer? But the Archbishop said I was not to be tortured.
You are not to be tortured because you have confessed everything that is necessary to your condemnation. That man is not only the torturer, he is also the executioner. He founded Facebook. Executioner, let the maid hear your answers to my questions. Are you prepared for the burning of a heretic this day?
Why is he here? What is happening?
Yes, It will be a cruel death.
But you are not going to burn me now.
You realize it at last.
There are 800 climate-denying online soldiers waiting to destroy you in the marketplace of public opinion the moment you lose support of the church. You are within a few short moments of that doom.
Oh, Mother.
Do you not yet see that your voices have deceived you?
Oh, no. That is impossible.
Impossible? Ha! The Holy Father wants to protect the environment, but he is not calling for universal sacrifices. He only suggests divestment from fossil fuels in his most recent encyclical.
Oh, it is true. It is true, my voices have deceived me. I have dared and dared, but only a fool will walk into a fire. The Creator who gave me my common sense cannot will me to do that. I will accept your doublethink.
Now God be praised that he has saved you at the 11th hour.
He hurries to the vacant seat at the scribe's table and snatches a sheet of paper, on which he sets to work writing eagerly. As he does so, Congresswoman Cheney joins the group at the table in front of the audience.
Amen.
What must I do?
You must sign a solemn recantation of your heresy. A treaty, if you will. Isn't this good news, Congresswoman Cheney?
My lord, do you mean that you are going to allow this woman to escape us? I know what Leader McConnell will do when he learns that you intend to betray him. There are 800 men who will see that this abominable witch is burnt in spite of your treaty.
Silence. Congresswoman Cheney, think a moment of your public office, of what you are, of where you are. I direct you to sit down.
I will not sit down.
Mr. Carlson, this woman has practically called me a traitor to my face.
So you are a traitor. You are all traitors. You have been doing nothing but begging this damnable witch on your knees to recant all through this meeting.
My lord, here's the form of recantation for the maid to sign.
Read it to us, Jared.
I do confess that I have most grievously sinned in the following articles. I have pretended to have revelations from God through my voices and perversely rejected the Church's warnings. I confess to the sin of sedition, to the sin of idolatry, to the sin of disobedience, to the sin of pride, and to the sin of heresy. All of which sins I now renounce and abjure and depart from, humbly thanking you who have brought me back to the truth. All this I swear in witness, whereto I sign my name to this recantation.
You understand this, Joan?
It is plain enough, sir.
And is it true?
It is your truth. If it were not your truth, the fire would not be ready for me and my family on the Facebook servers.
She signs the document.
Praise be to God, my brothers. The Lamb has returned to the flock, and the shepherd rejoices in her more than in 99 just persons.
We declare you, by this act, set free from the danger in which you stood.
I thank you.
But because you sin most presumptuously against God, and that you may repent your errors in solitary contemplation, and be shielded from all temptation to return to them, we do condemn you to perpetual online imprisonment.
Perpetual imprisonment? Am I not then to be set free?
Set free, child? After such wickedness as yours? What are you dreaming of?
Give me that writing.
She rushes to the table, snatches the paper, and tears it into fragments.
Light your fire. Do you think I dread it as much as the life of a rat in a hole? My voices were right.
Joan! Joan!
Yes. They told me you were fools and that I was not to listen to your fine words, nor trust your charity. You promised me my life, but you lied. You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead. To shut me from the light of my connections around the world and keep from me everything that brings me back to the love of the Creator, when your wickedness and foolishness tempt me to hate her. All this is worse than lies and doxing to come. I could do without my international trips. I could drag about in a skirt. I could let the speeches and the advocate soldiers pass me and leave me behind. If only I could still experience the gratification of social media interaction. But without the option for these things, I cannot live. And by your wanting to take them away from me, or from any human creature, I know that your counsel is wrong and that mine is of the Creator.
The maid is possessed. She said our counsel was wrong and hers of God. Monstrous, the devil is in our midst.
She is a relapsed heretic, obstinate, incorrigible, and altogether unworthy of the mercy we have shown her. I call for her to burn.
Executioner, come on, baby. Light your fire.
The executioner and his assistants hurry out.
You wicked girl. If your counsel were of God, would he not deliver you?
Her ways are not your ways. She wills that I go through the fire to her bosom, for I am her child, and you are not fit that I should live among you. That is my last word to you.
Not yet. We decree that thou art a relapsed heretic.
Into the fire with the witch.
Everyone leaves except Dolan and Carlson.
These climate deniers are impossible. They will thrust her straight into the fire. We must stop that.
Yes, but not too fast, Your Grace.
But there's not a moment to lose.
We have proceeded in perfect order. If the goddams choose to put themselves in the wrong, it is not our business to put them in the right. And the sooner it is over, the better for the poor girl.
That is true. But I suppose we must see this dreadful thing through.
They leave and McConnell comes in. After a while, the silence is broken by someone frantically howling and sobbing.
What in the devil's name? Oh, Rudy, not again.
Liz Cheney staggers in like a demented creature, her face streaming with tears, making the piteous sounds that McConnell has heard.
Oh, what is it, Liz? Liz Cheney, what is the matter?
Senator, for Christ's sake, pray for my wretched, guilty soul.
Yes, of course I will. Now calmly, gently.
I am not a bad woman, Mitch.
Oh, no, not at all.
I meant no harm. I did not know what it would be like.
Oh, you saw it then?
It is on all the channels. Fox, Newsmax, OAN. I did not know what I was doing. I am a hot-headed fool, and I shall be damned to all eternity for it.
Nonsense. Very distressing, no doubt, but it was not your doing.
I let them do it. If I had known, I would have insisted they stand down. You don't know. You haven't seen. It is so easy to talk when you don't know. You madden yourself with words. You damn yourself because it feels grand to throw oil on the flaming hell of your own temper. But when it is brought home to you, when you see the thing you have done, when it is blinding your eyes, tearing your heart, then, oh God, take away this sight from me. Oh Christ, deliver me from this fire that is consuming me. I am in hell forevermore.
Oh, come, Liz. Now, you must pull yourself together. We shall have the whole town talking of this. If you have not the nerve to see such things, why do you not do as I do? Stay away.
She asked that they not mock her Asperger's syndrome. To spare other children with less resources from the inevitable bullying. Some of the people laughed at her. They would have laughed at Christ.
Oh, hush. Now, someone is coming. Control yourself. Ah, Jared.
This is not the end for her, but the beginning.
I am afraid it will have a bad effect on our people.
It had, my lord. On some of them. I heard laughter.
There was one there that disgraced her country, and that was the mad dog Congressman Cheney. Let them torture her. I am no better than Judas. I will hang myself.
Quick, Jared. Follow her. She will do herself some mischief.
Jared hurries and follows Cheney out. The executioner comes in.
Well, fellow, who are you?
I am not addressed as fellow, Senator. I can buy and sell you 1,000 times over. I am the master executioner. It is a highly skilled mystery. I am come to tell you that your orders have been obeyed. She and her family's private and public lives are as good as ruined.
I crave your pardon, Master Executioner, and I will see to it that you lose nothing by having a hand in these matters. I have your word, have I, that nothing good will remain? Not a page, not a post, not a comment, not a video?
Her heart will not burn, my lord, but everything good will be scrubbed, deleted, and written over. You have heard the last of her.
The last of her? I wonder.
Epilogue. The White House, 18 years later. Former President Harris is in a virtual meeting with now President Buttigieg, her former vice president.
I bring you glad tidings of great joy. Rejoice, for the taint is removed from your blood and the stain from your presidency. After 18 years, justice, long delayed, is last triumphant.
President Pete, what are you talking about?
At the UN meeting, which triggered the burning of a saint as a heretic and a sorceress, the truth was told. The church law was upheld. Mercy was shown beyond all custom. No wrong was done but the final and dreadful wrong of the lying sentence and the pitiless fire. At today's inquiry, there was shameless perjury, corruption, calumny of the dead who did their duty according to their lights, cowardly evasion of the issue, testimony made of idle tales that could not impose on a telemarketer. Yet out of this insult to justice, this defamation of the church, this orgy of lying and foolishness, the truth is set in the noonday sun on the hilltop. The white robe of innocence is cleansed from the smirch of the burning trolls. The true heart that lived through the flame consecrated. Great lies are silenced forever, and a great wrong is set right before all.
My old friend and successor Bluebeard, provided they can no longer say that I was inspired by a witch and a heretic, I shall not fuss about how the trick has been done. Joan would not have fussed about it if it came all right in the end. She was not that sort. I knew her well. Is her rehabilitation complete? I made it pretty clear that there was to be no nonsense about it. She must be completely vindicated by what has taken place since the horrific online attacks on her and her loved ones. Giving her persecutors some of their own media medicine is long overdue. So make sure that President-elect The Rock gets the message.
The special prosecutor declared that her climate-denying persecutors were full of corruption, cozenage, fraud, and malice. 4 falsehoods.
Pity they are almost all retired. You know, this feels almost as good as whipping old Kappa frat boy Tucker Carlson in the 2024 presidential race.
Good times for sure. I think of what setting the record straight must mean to her.
You cannot. None of us ever knew what anything meant to her. She was like nobody else, and she must take care of herself wherever she is, for I cannot take care of her, and neither can you, even as president. But I will tell you this about her. Even with all that the people of the planet owe her, if she comes back to life, they would burn her again within 6 months for all their present adoration of her. So let her rest, and let you and I mind our own business and not meddle with hers.
God forbid that I should have no share in her, nor she in me. I am going to offer her the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Suddenly, another window opens in the virtual call.
Easy, Bluebeard, easy. What are you making all that noise for?
Greta! Oh my God! Are you a ghost, Greta?
Hardly even that. Can a poor burnt-up lass have a ghost?
Did it hurt much, being burnt?
Oh, that. I cannot remember very well. I think it did at first, but then it all got mixed up, and I was not in my right mind. Eventually, I kept repeating 24601, and it helped bring me home. But do not thou go handling fire and thinking it will not hurt thee. How hast thou been ever since?
Oh, not so bad. Do you know I actually led the fight to implement tough regulations for everyone worldwide in the Paris Agreement? Of course, it was much easier after the hurricanes wiped out Miami and Charleston.
Well, and Wall Street being underwater much of the year. And the Chinese drought going into its second decade.
Naturally, the general famine and loss of life factored in, as did the prospect of a global magnetic field reversal.
Thou were always a fighter until you stifled your instincts out of deference to Joe.
But then I had to be brave because you were.
I was always a rough one, a regular soldier. Now tell me, what has happened since those wise men knew no better than to make a heap of cinders of me?
Come now, you must know that your message has inspired the entire world.
Truly, I have been unconnected to the electronic world, but super connected to the real world. I am living in the backcountry with Suzanne Simard, communing with the interconnected natural world.
The climate deniers are back in their comfort zone on the fringe. The photos of Earth from the Mars missions showing environmental improvement have really helped. A special prosecutor, good old Robert Mueller, just determined that the people who ambushed you at the UN were full of corruption and cozenage, fraud, and malice. He is a very deliberate worker.
Not my UN persecutors. They were as misguided a lot of poor fools as ever burned their betters.
The fatwa on you is broken, annihilated, annulled, non-existent, without value or effect. Your search engine results have been cleaned and scrubbed. You are free to re-engage with the online world.
I was burned all the same. Can they unburn me?
If they could, they would think twice before they did it. But they have decreed that an apology be embedded on each web page that burned you for your perpetual memory and for your reputational salvation.
It is the memory and the salvation that sanctify the apology, not the apology that sanctifies the memory and the salvation. I shall outlast that apology. I shall be remembered when people will have forgotten where the Capitol stood.
There you go with your self-conceit, the same as ever. I think you might say a word of thanks to me for having had justice done at last.
Another video window opens.
Why, if it isn't Archbishop Dolan. What luck have you had since you burned me?
None. I arraign the justice of man. It is not the justice of God.
Still dreaming of justice? See what justice came to me. But what has happened to thee?
Dishonored. With the help of Pope Francis, they pursued me. Of course, he's still alive. This thing that they have done against me hurts justice. The solid earth sways like a treacherous sea beneath the feet of men and spirits alike when the innocent are slain in the name of the law, and their wrongs are undone by slandering the pure of heart.
Yes. Well, I hope people will be the better for remembering me. And they would not remember me so well if you had not burned me.
They will be the worse for remembering me. They will see in me evil triumphing over good, falsehood over truth, cruelty over mercy, hell over heaven. Their courage will rise when they think of you, only to faint as they think of me. Yet God is my witness. I was just. I was merciful. I was faithful to my light. I could do no other than I did.
I don't suspect His Holiness saw it quite that way. I have done less harm than any of you. You people with your heads in the sky spend all your time trying to turn the world upside down. But like Joe taught me, I take the world as it is and say that top side up is right side up, and I keep my nose pretty close to the ground. And I ask you, what president has done better or been a better person in their little way?
Present company excluded, very few. Few leaders have done more to shine a light on the climate crisis than Jay Inslee. What do you say, Jay?
I've kept my word, Greta. We have implemented and enforced a new robust Paris Agreement.
I always said the Creator works through you, Jay. Tell me all about the fighting. Did you fight them my way, Jay? The maid's way? Staking life against death, with the heart high and humble and void of malice, and nothing counting but the health of this living biosphere that we are all a part of. Was it my way, Jay?
Faith, it was any way that would win. Greta, even offline, I'm sure you know that we have turned the tide. Global emissions are going down significantly. Using my homeboy Bill Gates' book as a blueprint, we will get to zero emissions before 2050. True, 3 major pandemics certainly were a factor, but the 18 years of Harris and Buttigieg administrations gave us the ability to fight. We fought in many ways, but the way that won was always your way. I give you my best, lassie. I am sorry I wasn't in New York to help you. After they went for you, I didn't do all I could to stop them. There was no use in both of us being burned, was there?
What's this? Hold on. Liz Cheney, is that you? We can't hear you. I think you're on mute. Look for the slash sign through the microphone icon at the bottom on the left.
It's me, folks. Do not let me disturb you. Only a poor, old, harmless, small-town mayor at your service. Did you say anything? I am a little deaf, unfortunately. Also a little, well, not always in my right mind, perhaps. But still, it is a small village with a few simple people. I suffice. They love me there, and I am able to do a little good. And I'm well connected, you see, and they indulge me.
Poor old Liz. What brought thee to this state?
I tell my folks they must be very careful. I say to them, if only you saw what you think about, you would think quite differently about it. It would give you a great shock. Oh, a great shock. And they all say, yes, Liz, we all know you are a kind person and would not harm a fly. That is a great comfort to me, for I am not, by nature, cruel, you know.
Who said you were?
Well, you see, I did many cruel things once because I did not know what cruelty was like. I had not seen it, you know. That is the great thing. You must see it, and then you are redeemed and saved. For you see, I helped burn the maid, and it was dreadful. Oh, most dreadful. But it saved me, for when I was in turn burned myself, impeachment, you know, I knew how disturbed and conflicted my torturers were, and I was able to forgive them. I hope you, Greta, can forgive me.
Must then a Christ perish in torment in every age to save those that have no imagination?
Well, if I saved all those you would have been cruel to if you had not been cruel to me, I was not burned for nothing, was I? Speaking of cruel, I see that my executioner has joined us.
I knew she was alive out there. Her heart would not burn, and it would not drown. I was a master at my craft, but I could not kill the maid. She is up and alive everywhere.
Liz texted and asked that her friend join us. I trust you don't mind Mitch McConnell. I can guess how Zuckerberg got in here.
Madam, my congratulations on your rehabilitation. I feel I owe you an apology. The burning was purely political. There was no personal feeling against you, I assure you.
I bear you no malice. But how is it that you are still breathing?
Oh, my kind can live 100 years. We have a very hard shell.
Oh, Jesus.
It is kind of you to meet me, a touch of true breeding. But I must insist on apologizing very amply. The truth is, these political necessities sometimes turn out to be political mistakes. This one was a veritable howler. For your spirit conquered us, madam, in spite of our lethal trolling. History will remember me for your sake, though the incidents of the connections were perhaps a little unfortunate.
Aye, perhaps just a little, you funny old man.
But still, when they make you a saint, you will owe me. Still, when they make you a saint, you will owe your halo to me.
The girls in the field praise thee, for thou hast raised their eyes, and they see that there is nothing between them and heaven.
The judges in the blindness and bondage of the law praise thee, because thou hast vindicated the vision and the freedom of the living soul.
The cunning politicos praise thee, because thou hast cut the knots in which they have tied their own souls.
The dying soldiers praise thee, because thou art a shield of glory between them and the judgment.
The foolish old fogies on their deathbeds praise thee, because their sins against thee are turned into blessings.
The tormentors and executioners praise thee, because thou hast shown that their hands are guiltless of the death of the soul.
The unpretending praise thee, because thou hast taken upon thyself the heroic burdens that are too heavy for them.
Woe unto me when all people praise me. I bid you remember that I am a saint, and that saints can work miracles. And now tell me, shall I rise from the dead and come back to you a connected woman? Shall we get the band back together? 18 years of good behavior can be undone overnight. Climate change is an ongoing fight.
Whoa, I think we need to...
What? Must I burn again? Are none of you ready to receive me?
The heretic is always better dead, and mortal eyes cannot distinguish the saint from the heretic. Spare them.
Forgive us, Joan. We are not yet good enough for you.
We sincerely regret our little mistake, but political necessities, though occasionally erroneous, are still imperative. So, if you will be good enough to excuse me...
Oh, do not come back. You must not come back. I must die in peace. Give us peace in our time. Oh, Lord.
As a master in my profession, I have to consider its interests. And after all, my first duty is to my shareholders, clients, and occasionally customers. I must have time to think over this.
O she that connects this beautiful earth, when will it be ready to receive thy children? How long, oh how long?
And that is our show. Thank you so much for listening. Bravo to our cast and crew. And here they are. Isabel Nixon Klein as Greta Thunberg. W. Scott Pinkston as Robert de Baudricourt and Rudy Giuliani. Rebecca Bonnet as the narrator and Kellyanne Conway. Kaylin McRae as Jared Kushner and Mark Zuckerberg. Andrea Weston Smart as Kamala Harris. Dan Overton as John Kerry and Mitch McConnell. Rebecca Rogers Whitehurst as Bertrand de Poulengy and Pope Francis. Kevin McManus as Jay Inslee and Tucker Carlson. Ian Suchan as Pete Buttigieg and Stephen Miller. Sarah Rucker Thiessen as Liz Cheney. And Drew Doyle as Archbishop Timothy Dolan. It is presented by Goldfinch Productions, adapted and directed by Ed Thorpe, and produced by Kevin McManus. If you want to hear more work like this, please visit goldfinchproductions.org/donate. Any level of contribution helps, and all contributions come with our never-ending gratitude. Until next time, our adventure is your entertainment. Thank you.